Why isn't it happening? There we go. Hi, everybody. Good morning. This morning, I'm going to teach you how to build better relationships in business with a simple formula you'll be able to start using right away. Okay. So if you're here with us live, say hi, join the conversation. I hate talking out into nothing. So please say hi. If you're watching the replay, let me know. It's always nice to know you've been here, and I'll reach out and say hi and see how you liked it, or I'll leave you alone if you'd rather. But anyway, I just want to know who's watching. I can't believe I did it. I said those things right up front, right? So that's really cool. Okay, so have you ever felt awkward or even afraid when it comes to building relationships in your business? You're really not alone. In fact, most people feel this way in one way or another. So, we have so many different methods that we can use to connect with each other, to reach out with people. Oh, hey there, Nancy. Oh my goodness. Like, that's so cool. So just so you all know, Nancy Sarnoff, who is on here, is a friend from high school who I haven't seen in so long. Anyway, okay. It's amazing the things that make you nervous, right? Okay, so especially we get nervous because there's so many different methods. How do we know what the best way is to reach out to somebody? Where are people? What are they on? Right, so there's that. How many methods? And then there's so many platforms in which you feel like you're having a one-sided conversation. Okay, that feels super awkward, like right this second, right? I always feel when I get on these lives that I'm talking out into this camera with these little blue lights, and it just feels so awkward because it's not really a conversation. And there are so many methods we have these days that give us that same one-sided conversation feeling, which is just awkward, right? The pandemic. So the pandemic has interrupted face-to-face conversation, which for me was the most important way that I keep my connections up. That I prefer, as I think most people have in the past, maybe I'm wrong, but I prefer to be sitting across a table or sharing a couch with somebody, or like being able to see their eyes and not just through a screen, right? There's so many, what's the word for this? Nonverbal communication cues that we can't see, or we don't get right if we aren't sitting with somebody. And there's something really to be said for the energy that is exchanged when you are actually face to face. So the pandemic kind of has interrupted that whole thing. And then there's social anxiety, even for many extroverts like me, right? So there's one thing I've said before on these live videos. Hey, Kim, I've said before on these live videos how I'm nervous, and people always chime in and they're like, no, you don't seem nervous. You're like a total natural, whatever they say, right? Disagreeing, which is lovely. Lovely. I love that. I love that I'm coming across like I'm not nervous, but that's how it feels from the outside. Let me tell you how it feels from the inside. It's scary. I'm wondering if you don't like me. I'm wondering if I look okay, if you could see the big bags under my eyes, if you could see all my wrinkles. Do I look good? Like that constant conversation. Or I'm wondering, like, I'll do the whole thing and then we'll turn it off, and then we wonder, oh my God, did I say the right thing? Did I say too much? You know what I mean? Right? So that conversation that I'm having in my head, I know I'm not alone. I know that conversation, that social anxiety happens for so many people. And I'm not going to say just like in this situation or in a message or an email that you might send out, and then you're worried about how they're going to take it. But I have those kinds of conversations even face to face with people, and I think they've been magnified in this world, the way that we're living right now. Yeah. So, hey Ash. So the thing is, first of all, if any of these scenarios that I've said like ring true for you in terms of why you might feel awkward and in not only creating but maintaining relationships with people in business, let us know, because I want you to know that no matter how, the truth is that no matter how you feel about it, you're not alone. There are people out there who are feeling exactly the same way as you are, okay? The hard part about all this, when you think about relationships, because it's really easy in the middle of fear, in the middle of anxiety, in the middle of not knowing, to think, oh, I'm just going to hide under a rock and I'm going to do my business behind the scenes. And that way I won't have to deal with this relationship crap at all, right? But the truth is that you have to remember that relationships are the key to success in business. Relationships are the meat of business and life. Every single business is a people business, even if you're online 100%. You know why? Because you have clients, because you have potential clients, because you have a team, because you have colleagues, because you might have vendors, you have competitors, you have business friends, right? All of those, they're all people. Business is a people business. Being in business is all about people. And every single one of those people require connection and relationships with you of one sort of another, right? Hey, Jana. So glad to see you all here. It feels like you're really here. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to build better relationships in business with a simple formula that you're going to be able to start using right away. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dana, business strategist and coach. And yes, of course, it says that like right under the screen, right? And I work with successful, established business owners. I help them step out of the inundation of daily operations into powerfully owning their role as badass CEOs, so their business thrives alongside their multifaceted life. That is a friggin' mouthful, isn't it? Pretty much, I help business owners have a business that supports the life that they love and live the life that they love. That's more simple. But in the course of my work with people, we work on all of the aspects of business, infrastructure, creating an infrastructure, and inside that are all the relationships. So I've developed a formula on how to manage them, because relationships are what increase you have to manage relationships to increase revenue. You have to manage relationships to build a culture, a team culture that thrives, so that you have team members who are supported to grow and feel great about the work that they do and excited, right? You have to build relationships in order to create really powerful power partnership relationships, so that you can cross refer and so that you can get support, all of that. So relationships are in the fabric of every single aspect of building a business that works. Okay, great. So I wish I had a catchy name for my formula, but naming is something I'm really not great at. Okay, so let's call it the reach out and touch people formula. Can you tell what generation I'm at? I don't know if you ever saw those AT&T commercials. Reach out and touch somebody. Those used to make me cry. Yeah. Anyway, I'm one of those people that cries at really touching commercials. Yeah, I don't know if you are. My husband thinks I'm hilarious because he'll just look over and I'll be crying. Not that we watch many commercials anymore. Okay, so reach out and touch people formula, okay? So I'm going to break it down for you. The one thing I did do is like, what is it called when you have the same first letter for all the 4 things? Like I did do that. I was like, oh, this will be easier for people to remember if we do it this way. So we're going to break it down to 4 C's. Okay, so if you have a piece of paper and you're taking notes on this, really write down 4 C's. So the 4 C's are this: categories, communication, calendar, and connection. Okay, so what do I mean by categories? So categories are the who, like categories of people. So I think I mentioned before, there's lots of categories of people when it comes to your business. There are clients, there are past clients, there are potential clients, there are power partners. If you don't know what power partners are, that's a great topic for another live. We should talk about power partners. And yeah, so if that's of interest to you, just let me know in the comments, okay? Because then I'll figure out what I want to talk. We'll talk about power partners. Anyway, so power partners, colleagues, competitors, team, so team. So these are categories of people, okay? So that's the first thing. You have lots of categories of people. The next thing is communication. So what am I talking about? So when I think about communication in this way, what I'm thinking about is a specific touch plan for each category. So what's a touch plan? Well, ways of communicating over a period of time. What's the best way to communicate with specific categories of people? What's best for them and for you, right? And as I said before, we have so many methods of communication. I like a touch, when I work on a touch plan, I like to think of all the different ways that particular category of people really use the communication methods that are available to them. So, immediately we think of social media or we think of email. But, when was the last time you sent a handwritten note? People love mail. Have I said anything? Yeah, mail. People love mail that's not a bill. Nobody gets mail anymore. And there's a whole way of, segue here, just a little aside about mail. So if you're going to send mail, which I totally believe you should on a regular basis, send handwritten notes to clients. Once in a while, as part of a touch point, you can send them. I do this with real estate agents a ton, where maybe once a quarter, they'll either send a real piece of mail or they'll drop something off on people's porches. And a piece of mail could be, it's May or it's April. And have you seen those pieces of paper that have seeds embedded in the paper, right? So you can send that in an envelope and say, have fun planting a garden this year. Simple. Love, Dana, or warmly Dana, if you don't say love to your business people. Some people don't, so I have an itch. But yeah, so mail. So back to this aside about mail. Here's what's really effective. And actually one of my very first coaching clients actually taught me this years ago, like 8 years ago. We still work together, which is kind of cool. So Wendy Vitrubeck, if you're watching this, she's a master at mail. Pick an envelope that is related to your branding. What do I mean by that? Sorry. That is that matches one of the colors that's in your branding. And then forevermore, send any mail you have in that color envelope. So there's a whole bunch of color theory. I know I'm getting distracted, but we're going to go back. I promise this has a point. So there's a whole bunch of color theory about what people are attracted to. And it turns out that, for instance, yellow envelopes are the color that people will gravitate to the most in the mail and will open first. But unless you have yellow in your branding, don't use yellow. Wendy uses black. And so anything that comes to any of her clients in a black envelope, they immediately now, after years and years of receiving mail and gifts from Wendy, they know it's her because it's a black envelope. And believe me, when you open an envelope and you know there might be something like chocolate in there, it's the first thing you're going to go for if you see it in the mail. Okay. So back to the touch plan. You want to create a plan that's based over time of how you're going to reach out to people. So this is where you're going to hear my dog barking. Sometimes when somebody delivers something or somebody just walks by on the sidewalk, she decides to bark. So there's nothing I can do about it. So you're just going to have to live with it. We all are going to have to live with it. Okay. So email marketing software, this is a really good example of a touch plan, right? Like you write the emails and schedule the emails and they go out at a certain frequency and it's all done. But what I'm saying, so that's like a mini touch plan, right? But what I'm saying is that you can't just rely on email, because I don't know if you've noticed this, but email open rates have been going down, down, down. And for years and years, I've been saying that email is irrelevant. Okay, I know, come at me, okay? Because people do, they just come at me. Because anyway, so I do it, but I don't believe that it is the end all and be all. It works, as a regular thing, but interspersed in there, maybe you want to send them a text message. Maybe you want to send them a letter. Maybe you want to pick up the phone and call them. That's kind of shocking, isn't it? But yeah, I know we all have phone anxiety, right? But the phone still works. At least, even if people don't answer the phone, you can leave a voicemail, and most people listen to their voicemail. Not as much as they used to, but text message, like I text my clients. I actually text potential clients. Not a ton, but some. I use social media. I use the messenger ways on LinkedIn and Facebook, and right, because I know that it's going to go to them. Most people open their messages, not everybody. So if you're one of those people that can handle like all those, what are they called, notifications, that number makes me crazy. But so, since many of my clients are similar to me, at least I know many of them are actually reading their messages. So communication is to decide on a variety of ways that you're going to reach out to somebody and create a touch plan over time. So I always encourage at least 6 months, if not a year. How often are you going to reach out to them, and what method are you going to use? Okay, is this clear? And then the next C is calendar. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means schedule your touch points. Just like you schedule emails, schedule your touch points. Every time you go to a networking event and you meet a new person, or that's like 3 years ago. When's the last time you were at a networking event? But you know what I mean? The next time you meet a new person online, or the next time, you could be outside and meet some, right? You could, the next time you meet somebody in whatever way that is, depending on what category they're in, you have a touch plan created for that category. So people that you've networked with, or power partners, as I said, or past clients. This is really important because you want to keep your past clients as still either potential clients or referral partners, right? If they already know your work, they're the best people out there. They should be your raving fans. So for each of these categories, you have a different touch plan, which means, how long in between times you're going to reach out. What are the different ways you're going to reach out? And then each time you meet one of those people, or somebody goes from being a client to being a past client, they get moved from a current client touch point plan to a past client touch point plan, and it's automatic. And then you want to use a calendaring system. I use something called Vicita, VCITA.com. I'll put it down below. Okay. I've been using this for 10 years. It's at the heart, it's a scheduling, calendaring software, right? It allows people to book sessions with me. It allows me to book, know what I'm doing at any one point. But the other thing that it does is it actually allows me to schedule follow-ups. So as soon as somebody goes from being a current client to a past client, I shift the way that I follow up with them so that it is scheduled out for a year how I'm going to reach out to them. Is this making sense? Like, if this is making sense, can you say, yes, this is making sense in the comments, so at least I know? Because, that's, otherwise, if it doesn't make sense, then just say it doesn't make sense and ask a question. Okay. So here's the part about a touch plan that's so important. Like, it's great if you create it, but if you're not going to use it, that doesn't make the difference. I mean, the whole point here, and I know you've heard this a million times in business, it's not just about planning. You have to actually do it. Do the plan, right? So I'm going to challenge you to aside from the regular like emails and the stuff that doesn't require you to face somebody, right? Those are the easiest ones to send. Emails or social media posts, or those are really much easier because they can't see you. The ones that are harder are the face-to-face stuff. So coffee dates, when, personally I do those outside still, or on Zoom, right, if they're far away. So I'm going to challenge you to have a spot in your weekly schedule, ongoing, into perpetuity while you're in business. I'm going to challenge you to pick a day and time that you are going to always have a face-to-face conversation, contact scheduled. So for some of you, having it be always on the same day and time isn't going to work. But for some of you, that makes it easier, right? And at least when you start, it doesn't matter if this face-to-face is somebody who could be a potential client, or if this person is a power partner, or maybe if this person is a colleague. Like, really, when you're first starting and getting into the rhythm of this, it doesn't matter. Just fill it with somebody. Reach out and schedule a date with somebody. Okay? As you get better at this, and as it becomes more comfortable and part of your life, because it just becomes a habit. My habit usually happens on the porch. We have porch time, and I have lots of friends, lots of business acquaintances that come and hang out with me on my porch because it's a great porch. And it for me, it fills my bucket in so many ways, right? It is about business. It's about my love language. It's about being together, and it manages the pandemic crap. So I'm going to challenge you once a week. Once you get used to it, then pick a category that's really important to you. And I'm going to encourage you to pick potential clients or power partners, from those two categories, and have a meeting with them, with a new person in that category every single week. Okay. And those meetings are not about, like, you're not going to have those meetings and say, be a salesy weirdo. Like, don't be a salesy weirdo. Ever. Don't be a salesy weirdo ever. You're sharing a cup of coffee. Like, have a conversation, right? And then you can find out if there's anything the two of you can do for each other, if you can help them, if they can help you, or if you just want to be friends. Or maybe you're going to find out, you know what, you'd rather not spend time with somebody, that particular person. It wasn't a waste of time. It was just like an experiment. I love experimenting. Like, if you don't know me in person, or you haven't spent any real time with me, that's one thing you find out about me pretty quick, is I really love to experiment, because you never know what's going to work, right? Okay, so challenge. Have a face-to-face every single week. Okay, fourth C, connection. Okay, I kind of said this a little bit already. So here's what's really important. Be yourself. God damn it. Don't worry about what people are going to think. Be your honest to goodness, weird, funny, anxious, human self. Just because these are people that you're doing business with, don't try to be a version of yourself that's not real, because people can smell it. This is true in your writing. This is true in your conversations. No matter how it is that you're going to reach out with people, the most important thing is just be your damn self. I don't have anything else to say about that. Like, that's just like so straightforward. I mean, we're told all the time, be real, be authentic. But then, you look at Instagram, and how real and authentic is that? Like, really be real. Just be yourself. Okay? Maybe I should just make, I don't know, is it merch? Make some kind of merch. God, I'm about to turn 62 in like a week. I'm using words, funny words. Okay, merch that says, be yourself. Okay, never mind. Off topic. Okay, my mom used to say that I talk with my hands all the time. I think I really do that. Okay, so let's just go back and make sure that we have all the things. So 4 C's, categories, right? People, communication, touch plan, calendar. Did we talk about calendar? Yes. Schedule it out, and connection. Be your damn self. I think that's pretty straightforward. Is this going to be helpful for you? Is this going to be helpful in terms of not only starting, but building and maintaining relationships over time? Let me know. Like, really, if it's not helpful, I want to know that too. Don't just say the good things, say the real things. That's like part of being real, right? Part of being authentically yourself. Okay, so my clients have learned really quickly that they never get off the phone without some kind of homework, usually a long list of stuff. But I love homework, because you need to be in action in order to make changes, to shift things. So I'm going to give you some, and I have decided that I'm going to give you homework on every one of these calls, it's not really a call, right? It's a video. So I'm going to give you homework on every video. So there's one, create a touch plan for one category of people in your business. That touch plan should be for a period of at least 6 months, if not a year. Include a variety of communication styles. You don't have to write the email, just say that you're going to send an email, right? So include a variety of communication styles, and then schedule it into your calendar. And then live it. Now, here's the thing about this homework. Come back and let me know. Tell us what you did. Tell us what category of people that you did it for. Do this homework. It will really change your life. The second thing is, if you're at a point in your business that you know you're the one keeping everything stuck from real growth because you're too involved in all the micromanagement, and your company needs you to be the visionary and the leader so that it can actually be what it wants to be, put me in your touch plan. Reach out to me, and let's see what we can do for each other, okay? So I hope this was really helpful. I hope you have a great week. I'll be here next week. Next week is kind of cool because it's my birthday week next week. So we're going to do something birthday-ish, okay? Okay, so I will talk to you next week. I hope you have a great week. The sun came out. It's just awesome. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.